Hello again everybody. I'm now going to show you how to make a really simple book using a very basic stitch. They're great little books. They can make little notebooks for shopping lists or drawings or whatever you like really. So we're going to start with 3 or 4 rectangular pieces of paper. I'm just using copy paper. You just need cheap paper for this, it doesn't matter. Once you get good at making books you can then sort of chop and change your materials and use fancy papers and things. And I'm going to take each one and fold it in half. I've also got here a piece of pattern paper the same size as my white paper, or my sort of typing paper that's going to go inside. When you're making books, these pages that go inside, we stack them together. So fold them individually, don't try and fold them all at once. Make a nice sharp crease with the thumbnail, and then we're going to stack them inside each other, and this is called a signature when you make a book. And you can make books with multiple signatures, but we're just going to make one here with a single signature. If you use more than 3 or 4 pages, and you can see here they sort of don't line up, this edge isn't that neat. You could trim that. I might do that actually. I might get my ruler here. Just trim those edges up to neaten them. Children, if you're doing this, be really careful and perhaps ask an adult to use a knife to help you. And then once you've got your pages or your signatures folded, I'm going to fold my cover paper, and it's going to go on the outside. So now that is basically your book, but obviously your pages are all going to fall out unless you find a way of securing them. So one of the easiest ways is to do something called a pamphlet stitch. So we're going to open out our book, holding everything together. If you want, if you've got a little clamp, which I don't have here to hand, you can clamp them together so that they don't move. But I should be able to hold this with my hands. Now, you need a piece of cloth, or I use an old tea towel. You lay your paper on it like this, and then you take like a little map pin for using on corkboards, and I'm going to make a hole along that crease right in the middle. And then I'm going to go about halfway up my second hole, and then about halfway down there. So I've just got 3 holes. Then what I need to do is to take some thread. I've got some linen thread here, but you can, for a book like this, use something nice like embroidery thread, pretty colours. And what I need to do is find something called a tapestry needle, and basically that is a needle with a fairly big hole in the top to thread your big eye on it, but it's got a rounded tip, and the reason is we're going to use this and push it through the holes we've made in the book. If you use a needle with a pointy tip, a sharp tip, and if your paper gets sort of misaligned and you start to put your needle through the holes, it can make an extra hole or make holes where you don't want to, whereas if you've got a rounded tip, it finds the hole that you've made. So you can start on the inside or on the outside, it doesn't matter either way. I'm going to start on the inside because I think it'll show up better on the white paper. So I take my needle through, and I need enough thread that will go up and down a couple of times, maybe 3 times to be on the safe side. So I've gone through, and I'm just going to hold it so it doesn't slip out of place. I'm then going to go up to the top on the outside, and I'm going to bring my needle through. I can. Always hard when you're doing this when somebody's watching. And I'm going to bring it through that top hole. I'm then going to take it right to the far hole. I'm going to miss out the middle hole and take it through that far hole. And then the last step is to come back through the middle hole. But when I come back, I'm going to go the other side of that middle thread. So my starting thread's one side, and now I take that to the other side. I'm going to pull everything really tight and just tie a knot over that long thread that's going across the middle. And there you have it. I can cut that off I can see a scissors anywhere. Okay, there we go. What I have is a little book with something that's called a pamphlet stitch. I haven't actually lined up my paper very well there, so you might want to be a bit more careful with me. And it's a really secure little stitch for a book, and what you have is a little homemade book. If you start on the outside, you can actually tie a bow, you could put some beads on, you could have a little button there. There's all sorts of ways of decorating your leftover thread, but I don't mind it being tied off in the middle like that. Right, I'm now going to show you how to use the same stitch, but we're going to extend it a bit more to make a slightly bigger book. And we're going to need to do this for my next video, so I will show you how to make the book. Okay, for my next book, I'm actually going a bit bigger, and I've got 3 sheets of A4 paper, typing paper, which I folded in half, like I showed you before, and a piece of sort of slightly stiffer card for the cover. And I folded them all in half, and they're all on a line now. And what I've done, instead of making 3 holes, you see I've got one in the middle, and I've got 3 either side, so I've got 7 holes. The only important thing with this, you can have as many holes as you like, but you do need an odd number. It's important to have an odd number. And I think probably 7 for the type of book that I'm going to show you, because we want it secured all the way from the very top to the very bottom. I've got my rounded tip needle and about 3 times the length of the spine in thread. So I think this time I'm going to start on the outside. It's the same principle, so I need to push through into the middle from the outside, and let's go off camera there. So I just hold that end in place so that it doesn't pull out. Now, oops, I'm knocking my camera everywhere here. Sorry, everybody. Trying to do it in a confined space. Now, it's the same principle as before. But instead of going right the way up to the top like we did before, we're just going to go to the next hole up. And what we're going to do is go in and out until we get all the way to the top. So I shall go through the next one. Hopefully find that hole. That's it. And to the top. And when I get to the top, so I've gone in and out like a big running stitch. When I get to the top, I am literally going to go back down the way I came to that one, out to the next one. Now, except again, and it's the same principle as before, I miss the middle hole. I take the thread to one side. I'm going to go into the next hole there. So I've missed the middle hole. I shall go back out that hole into the top hole, and once again come back down the way I came, down through that hole, into the next hole, and back out the middle where we very first started, but on the other side of that thread. So basically I start at the middle, I go up and down all the way to the top, back, miss the middle hole out, all the way to the other end, back, in and out in the middle, and then once again I just tie my thread over that middle thread to secure it. And I can tie that in a bow, so I could put a little button on there. You can do all sorts of things to make it fancy. But that will do for now. I don't think my scissors are very sharp for cutting thread. No, they're not, but I've made a mess of that. But you get the idea. And so I've got a slightly bigger book that is secured all the way down the middle. And the next time I come, I am going to show you how to turn this into a fun book of faces. See you next time. Stay safe, everybody. Bye.